Dueling Dialogues is brought to you by our affiliates at IX Web Hosting. Click the banner on the rightleftchronicles.com to get up to 40% off your first year of the best hosting on the planet. Today's episode of Dueling Dialogue is brought to you by Saucy Eva. GMA's marinade is coming soon to a plate near you to gourmetize your meats and proteins. Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 41. I'm Connor Murphy, talking with Grace Matthews in Springfield, Missouri. Hi, Grace. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Little tired. Big weekend. But...
Big weekend, huh? Now you need another weekend to relax?
Oh, you have no idea. I'm getting old. These long stretches, but it was a fabulous weekend.
Good.
Listened to some absolutely wonderful music. I saw this Fifth Dimension in Franken at the Andy Williams Theater. And, you know, they may be old, but they're still good.
Awesome.
They absolutely did. The Aquarius was wonderful.
Awesome.
And I mean, you know, a couple of them, they're moving a little slow, but they can sure sing.
Awesome.
And they were not lip syncing.
Good. So they put on a good show, did they?
Yeah, and I was really proud. You know, the Andy Williams Theater in Branson is very awesome. They built it into the ground. The acoustics are fabulous. This year marks the 25th year. Of course, Andy is no longer with us, unfortunately. Right. But the youngest Osmond, Jimmy, has purchased the theater and is managing it and in Andy's honor.
Cool.
And it was a really excellent experience. I was a guest. When I was invited, I was like, are you kidding me? These people are way too old and this is going to be horrible. I was wrong. It was absolutely fabulous.
Awesome.
So, but it got me thinking about 25 years. So,
right. Okay. So,
what the heck was going on 25 years ago?
Yeah, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah, me too. I had to really think about this. But also, when I turned on the TV this weekend, Bill Clinton and Hillary and a few others from his old administration were in Little Rock celebrating his 25th anniversary of his victory for president. It was supposed to be about Bill, but Hillary was ranting about Trump, her loss.
And what happened?
The Republican Party. And Bill had... You know how he had his chin sitting on his hand, covering his mouth? You could tell he just was cringing. It was not a good week for them either. You know, I mean, you got to think this anniversary came at a really bad time. People are getting more upset about Bill Clinton had a history of sexual indiscretions. Actually, that's really a nice way of putting it. And those are not okay anymore.
Right.
25 years later. So between that, the Uranium One situation, the funds to the charity, and the idea that Jeff Sessions has opened up that door last week, this was not a good week to have a 25th anniversary of anything for the Clintons.
Probably right there.
So here we are. Thinking about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton beat George H. Bush. Now, George H. Bush only held office for one term. A lot of people voted for him believing he was going to be a continuation of Reagan.
Right.
That wasn't true. And people should have known better, because when he was running against Reagan, when he was Reagan's vice president, and actually when he was president, he was not very well liked. It wasn't till later years that he became more beloved. Now, everybody loved Barbara.
Yeah.
But actually, the night that Reagan offered George H. Bush, you know, the vice presidency, or make him his vice president running mate, George Bush had snuck off, went back to the hotel, got a little polluted, I guess, and was kind of an ass, because the cameras followed Reagan to the hotel room. And of course, George H. Bush comes to the door, not very nice. and there was a whole bunch of cameras out there. So just a little step back in time.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, it hasn't been a very good break a couple of weeks for George H. either. I mean, he's very old, but he's been accused of groping too.
Right.
But anyway, so we started talking about, you and I were talking about 25 years ago. What else happened? And how is it that it's very similar? Many of the problems are very similar to what's going on now.
Right. Like we spun our wheels. We haven't learned anything.
Actually, it's very much like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
One thing is for damn sure, Hillary's still angry. I'm still running around going, what happened? What happened? You know, I think she's been doing that for 25 years.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but 25 years ago, remember Prince Charles and Lady Diana separated. What a big deal that was.
Oh, huge.
I mean, royals do not do that.
Right.
And, you know, it was all because of Camilla Parker Bowles. And she was actually married to another man with 2 kids. It was like a big deal.
Yeah, it was.
And they really even suggested that might be the end of the royals. But you know what? The royals have withstood and are maybe a little bit better now with Prince William and Kate than they've been in a few decades.
Yeah, I think they should just skip Prince Charles and go straight to William.
Well, you know, if he were to follow protocol, because of his divorces, and he married, you know, a woman that was not royal and had been married before, actually, they should.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not my personal opinion. That's just the protocol of the royal lineage.
Well, there's been talk that she's going to be getting ready to pass the torch here at any time. So be interesting to see what's going to happen there.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of issues with cops right now.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter and others believe that cops are racist.
Right.
Oddly enough, 25 years ago, the riots broke out in LA after 4 police officers were acquitted in the beating of Rodney King. During those riots, 53 people died and the city suffered from more than $1 billion in damages.
Yeah, that was rioting on the next level for
it really
country.
Was.
Yeah.
It really was. And we're not far from that these days.
No.
In fact, this year there has been a lot of rioting, a lot of damage. You know, it all started with Ferguson a couple of years ago, but this year it has just been explosive. I hope we do not reach the level of the LA riots.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there.
No. It is very terrible. This year has also been a year of hurricanes, devastating hurricanes.
Yeah.
25 years ago, Hurricane Andrew pummeled Florida.
Right.
So when we talk about weather cycles and you look back 25 years ago, you can see a lot of patterns. You talked about having a very warm summer.
Yeah.
I talked about having a very cool summer. Guess what? 25 years ago, we had a very cool summer in the Midwest. In fact, in June in Wisconsin, it froze.
Wow.
25 years ago.
Sounds like Calgary.
Absolutely.
Or Winnipeg.
So, you know, cycles are there.
Huh.
For many, it was sad when The Tonight Show's Johnny Carson retired.
Oh, yeah.
But Jay Leno was an awesome replacement, in my opinion.
Yes.
It was time.
Yeah.
I remember my
Leno.
dad was sad. My dad was very sad about Johnny Carson leaving. But Leno now has retired and
passed the torch again, yeah.
That's exactly right. And The Tonight Show still lives on with Jimmy Fallon, right?
Yes.
So I'm hardly ever awake to watch it. I see clips in the news shows and such, but I'm usually not awake.
Yeah, those are just the better parts that you see in the clips.
I figure I'm not missing much.
No.
You know? Serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer was sentenced for killing 17 people that he had killed from 1978 to 1991. I believe they found a lot more bodies. I believe he might have been responsible for more than 33 deaths. I mean, he was the one that was cannibalistic and such. It was
sick person.
Really horrifying. Yeah. And really, the whole trial really rocked the nation. And I'll never forget the look on his parents' face, or his father and his stepmother. I just, because, your first inclination when you're hearing about the story is, what kind of awful people raised this man?
Yeah.
And you know what? They weren't. I mean, when you saw them at the trial, it was just heartbreaking. You knew that that's not really what happened.
Yeah.
So sometimes things can happen with kids and it's not the parents' fault. Okay, Euro Disney opened. That was pretty much of a flop.
Yeah, that was a failure.
For sure. And remember the purple dinosaur?
Another failure. Yeah.
Parents wish it would have been a failure. Barney and Friends made their TV debut. Oh gosh, I remember the purple dinosaur.
Yeah.
Saying, "I love you." My youngest son was a Barney fanatic.
Oh my gosh. Poor you.
Yeah, that's what I said. Poor me. The Cosby Show aired its final regular run episode.
Huh.
Boy, has a lot happened with Bill Cosby since then.
I'd say.
Being from America's favorite dad, and believe me, I thought he really was the perfect dad.
Yeah.
To now being really, he's the first one from Hollywood. He was before the Weinstein and Wiener. He was accused of giving date rape drugs to all sorts of women.
Yeah, I am. In some of the groups, they call it the Cosby cocktail.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So America's father, we've learned, was not the perfect father we believed him to be.
No.
Now, the Golden Girls also aired their final episode. Now, I loved the Golden Girls. I say all my most important lessons came from the Golden Girls.
Yeah. Great show.
It was a great show. NBC debuted Dateline.
Oh, wow. 25 years they've been on the air. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's getting to be pretty long.
Yeah.
So most shows do not last that long. The cost per gallon of gas in the U.S. was $1.05.
Wow.
This week it's $2.35, so it's doubled bit. You got to think a few times it's been 5, 6, 7 times that. I know you've got a lot to say about the
Yeah, I'm just going to shut my mouth here because we're almost paying $5 a gallon. So, yeah.
How much did what did it get to? When we were paying $5 to $7, what were you guys paying?
It was it wasn't that much more than it was now. Like it's $1.31 per liter. So you multiply that by 4.5.
Right.
So, because our gallon is a bigger gallon than yours too.
Right.
You
right.
guys have a bit of a smaller gallon, but yeah, it's still. Let's move on. It's a whole new show.
The average household income was $30,636. Now, oddly enough, in towns like Springfield and throughout the Midwest, it's the same.
Ouch.
The average income is the same, and that needs to change. And that's one of the reasons why Trump was voted into office.
Well, we've yet to see that change, though.
You're exactly right. But it's an important change.
Yes.
The movie Aladin wowed moviegoers. It was one of the first of the new age of animation. The voice of the genie was the late Robin Williams.
Sad.
That's very sad. His suicide is it's devastating, I think, to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, debuted, and it began a tradition for many families around the holidays. I know at my house, somebody's always playing that. At least once.
Yeah, and you know what? It's replayed right through the Christmas season, so it's become, a tradition with a lot of families.
You will remember Donald Trump made a little cameo appearance in that one.
Right.
So, Sister Act, which was a fabulous movie with Whoopi Goldberg, came out that year. I loved that movie.
Yeah.
And speaking of, this is just funny. What can I say? CNN, fake news, as Donald Trump says, commonly called the Clinton News Network these days. Actually, in 1992, 25 years ago, the Ace Golden Globe Award went to CNN for its coverage of the Persian Gulf War.
Wow.
My, have things changed. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't even think Trump would believe that.
No.
25 years ago, Japan apologized to Korea for forcing their women into sexual slavery during World War II.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that.
That's nuts. I didn't remember that at all. But it's kind of like, okay, back then it was Japan admitting to sexual abuse. Today it's Hollywood and the media.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the players are a little bit different, but the story's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, you bet.
The 49th Golden Globes went to Bugsy, Nick Nolte, and Jodie Foster.
Right. Forgot about that movie.
Jodie Foster's, I think, was Silence of the Lambs. That was like quite a movie.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that was, it sprouted a whole trilogy.
Well, and you have to think on the day that we learned that Charles Manson dies, that, you got to believe that Hannibal Lecter was a little bit of a Charles Manson.
Yeah, for sure.
The Americans with Disabilities Act became law. I mean, that was very important because prior to that, you really did not have to have handicap bathrooms, ramp, adaptations in the workplace. It was a very, very important bill that became law.
Right. And I believe the same thing happened here in Canada around the same time,
I was wondering, yeah. I'm surprised you guys weren't ahead of us on that. You usually are on those things.
Well, I don't really know what year that was, but I do remember. It was
probably similar.
Yeah, a very similar thing.
Mike Tyson went on trial for rape, the rape of Desiree Washington. He was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years.
Which he didn't do anything near 10 years, did he?
No, he didn't. And did he bite off
somebody's ear?
Yeah. Was that before or after?
Yeah, I think it was around the same time because it was just total destruction.
Yeah, he was a mess, and I don't think he's been great, but he kind of disappeared from the limelight for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill Clinton and Gennifer Flowers began accusing each other of lies surrounding their 12-year affair, and then the others started breaking out. The accusations of rape and sexual abuse came after that. That was kind of the trigger right there.
Right.
And that was right after he won the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Johnson's number 32 was retired.
Wow. 25 years ago. Holy
and it wasn't long after that we learned that he was HIV positive.
Right.
Which made his revelations and transparency about HIV certainly moved our behavior surrounding that disease forward.
Yeah, I think you totally are correct there, for sure.
I loved Magic Johnson. Yeah, crazily to think about, but a 16-year-old Tiger Woods became the youngest PGA golfer in 35 years. Now think about all the bad he's went through lately. Women, divorce, injury. His game went to hell in a handbasket, basically, after he was ousted by the women. He could never get his psychological game back, and then his back went, and I don't know what all. And most recently, he had taken medication after back surgery and was out on the streets in his car asleep.
Yes.
He had been driving. They never found any alcohol present, but he had certainly mixed a lot of prescription drugs. So
lovely.
Yeah. He is going to be on parole and probation for about 3 years, I think. I don't know. They're going to check back with him in a year. So now, one thing that has certainly came about in the past 25 years is gay marriage, gay relationships, and the fact that they're being more and more treated like traditional marriage. And in a lot of cases, they are being treated as traditional marriage. But back 25 years ago, Martina Navratilova and Judy Nelson settled what they then dubbed a galimony suit.
Galimony.
Yeah, very interesting. But, we've come a long ways with that. And I'm sure there are a lot of suits now.
Yeah.
People's Choice Awards went to Kevin Costner, Julia Roberts, Bill Cosby. And Candice Bergen. Yeah. I don't think they would choose Bill Cosby anymore. Possibly not even Kevin Costner. Julia Roberts, she's still pretty good stuff. Candice Bergen, I don't know what's going on with her.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
Dropped off the earth.
Noriega, remember him? He's giving us like secrets about the South American drug wars and all that. I don't think he ever panned out much, but Noriega's wife was arrested for stealing buttons off of dresses.
Wow. I don't ever remember hearing that, but that is pretty funny.
Yeah, she must have had a button fetish.
Yeah, there's
and
something
can you
wrong
imagine
there.
walking into the store and cutting off the buttons off the dresses?
Yeah.
You got to admit that's a unique fetish.
Yeah, there's something wrong upstairs there.
Yeah. Maybe she was doing a little of those drugs. Who knows? Anyway, John Gotti was found guilty of 5 murders, plus conspiracy to murder, loan sharking, illegal gambling, obstruction of justice, bribery, and tax evasion.
Yeah, wow. Those are some charges.
Yeah, eventually he lived out the rest of his life at the Federal Medical Center here in Springfield, Missouri. We get a lot of the sick ones because it is kind of a hospital-type facility. And he died a few years ago in one of the local hospitals.
Wow.
After an emergency situation. So Madonna signed a $60 million contract with Time Warner. And I got to think 25 years ago, that was a lot of dough. It still is.
Yeah.
That was an amazing amount of money.
Yeah. There's another one that's dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, she kind of has, except for when last year, no, this was just this year in March, she was marching at the Capitol and said she had thought a lot about burning down the Capitol, the White House.
Right.
And a lot of people wanted the feds to question her or holler in. I don't know. I guess they didn't think it was worth it.
Right.
Because she never even apologized. So Anyway, Michael Keaton was Batman. I thought he made an excellent Batman.
Yeah, he did.
He was pretty tough for not such a big guy. They sure made him seem big, and tough, and I liked him. Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman.
Right, yes.
And recently she plays the mature woman on the new version of the Orient Express.
Oh.
That's what happens in 25 years. You get older.
Yeah.
It's happened to me. I know.
Oh, me too.
Ross Perot entered the race as an independent for the president of the United States. That was the first legitimate 3-way race for presidency. And actually, it's the only one.
Right. Very
we
interesting.
really have not had, and I know you gripe about that. You say we would be better off if we had that third party.
More choices. Yeah.
Of course, they say that that's what cost George H. Bush the election. In a sense, maybe it did. In another sense, I just don't believe George H. Bush was a popular president.
No, I don't think he was either. He was funny.
Yeah. They're still talking about taxes.
Yeah. How can you not?
Yeah, I mean, we're desperate. And as I was looking through some of the stuff, it wasn't 25 years ago, but it was in the late 80s. Remember, Leona Helmsley was convicted of tax fraud. She was a billionaire hotel operator. And she said something that I think is very profound. It was profound then. It's profound now. She said, we don't pay taxes. Only the little people do. She was talking about the middle class.
Yeah, exactly.
And small business. It was true then, and it's true now. Let's hope. Maybe we should even challenge this Congress, Senate, and the president to make a liar more than a quarter century out of Miss Helmsley.
Yeah, that's... good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I kind of thought that's what you would say.
Yeah, well, I hope it does happen, but good luck with that.
Well, and this time of year, unfortunately, we have to think a lot about people die. They die more around the holidays as it gets colder. It's just a fact. But someday maybe they really won't have to die. And possibly by the year 2045, we won't truly be dying. It won't be final when our bodies give out. No more graves. We're running out of room for graves anyway. But nevertheless, according to futurist Ray Kurzweil of Google, as technology and our brains become more integrated, we will remain so relevant after our physical death that we will be virtually immortal. You can put something in like a little jump drive and talk to grandma. Because her thought patterns will merge with computer technology, and it will be as if she's still alive mentally.
Interesting.
We're already trending this way. In 2015, for the first time ever, more people were cremated than buried.
Oh.
It's kind of interesting that we talk about the Golden Girls, because in one of the episodes of Golden Girls, remember they fantasized about having their heads frozen?
Yes. Yeah.
It's, that's what this reminds me of.
That's funny.
My son's always talking about that he's not planning on dying. He believes that people will be immortal in his generation. And I'm always like rolling my eyes going, really? Okay. But you may have a point.
Right.
Okay,
Never
so
know.
for some news.
Okay.
Murderous cult leader Charles Manson is dead at age 83. What a relief.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just been like a thorn in the side of society ever since I can personally remember.
Yeah, he is the boogeyman of my childhood.
Yeah, he really was a boogeyman. He really was like Satanistic, like acting, and those eyes. Oh my God, creepy, helter skelter.
Yeah, he was one creepy dude, that's for sure.
Still, if somebody says helter skelter, I get this feeling up my spine.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
No.
Anyway, music mogul, and I don't know, I thought he was like some new age meditation guru. Russell Simmons denies accusations that back in 1991 he sexually assaulted a 17-year-old model while director Brett Ratner watched.
Wow.
It just gets better and better. But you know what? Russell Simmons really disappointed me. I bought several years ago one of his meditation books.
Right.
I think on audio, and it was his voice. And I thought it would be fabulous because he really had, to me, when I had seen some of his interviews in person, had seemed to have mastered, that spirituality that we look for during meditation. I bought that, and it was so riddled with politics that I was shocked and angered.
Yeah.
Do you mix politics and meditation? I mean, I love politics, but you don't mix it with meditation.
Yeah, that's how can you properly meditate?
You can't.
No.
That's ridiculous. Okay, the populist ideas are not just happening in the United States or the UK's Brexit. It seems to be spreading across Europe. Merkel is unable to put a coalition together, ultimately threatening to nullify her reign. Now, they will call for a new election, but if she can't muster a coalition, she could be out.
Wow.
And they say that the reason for the populist movement in Europe is the fact that they let too many refugees in that are hurting their standard of living and their safety.
Yeah.
So we will want to stay tuned to that. I'm really shocked.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is, because although she's had some unpopular decisions, financially, she has been good for the country.
Yeah.
So country singer and songwriter Mel Tillis died. That's sad. He had also moved to Branson, Missouri in his latter years, and it's just really sad.
Wow.
Another woman is accusing Al Franken of groping. Her name is Lindsay Mins. She claims Craig Franken grabbed her bottom at the Minnesota State Fair during a photo. That seems like where it happens quite a bit. There's been 2 or 3 cases with 2 or 3 different people that said that, they grab their bottom during photos.
Wow.
One sad thing to see, and I saw this as I drove through the countryside yesterday, churches everywhere are arming their entrances during services.
Wow.
That's a sad thing to see.
That's incredibly sad.
Guys walking around with guns at the entrances of churches. Unfortunately, it's necessary.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also this weekend, Della Reese, best known for Touched by an Angel, died at the age of 86.
Right.
Malcolm Young.
Yeah, that's sad too.
He died.
Yeah. Bad week for celebrity deaths.
Yeah.
And sure.
Unfortunately, it happens a lot. Trump also designated North Korea a sponsor of terror. What is that going to do?
Don't know.
This ball's in China's ball court, so I don't really know that that's going to do much of anything.
I mean, it's going to impose more sanctions. But what sanctions were still functioning? Was there any? I doubt it. I don't think it really...
No, I did hear we could put some more sanctions on banks, but basically doesn't that consist of us putting pressure on China, put sanctions on banks that do business with North Korea?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know if we have all that much control in that situation.
Yeah, between the Russians and the Chinese, who knows what's going on there?
I don't know. We've got to do something, though. That guy is toxifying the land, the air. I mean, who wants to be downwind from him already?
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, and we don't always agree, but life's a journey, and we're all in this together. Remember, do not become a victim. #nobody's victim. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor, and Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Dueling Dialogues is brought to you by our affiliates at IX Web Hosting. Click the banner on the rightleftchronicles.com to get up to 40% off your first year of the best hosting on the planet. Today's episode of Dueling Dialogue is brought to you by Saucy Eva. Gma's Marinade is coming soon to a plate near you to gourmetize your meats and proteins.